Good morning, everyone. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for a Puck It with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X. Now, after a loaded day yesterday on the ice, we've got a game out there, another loaded a day tomorrow as well. So let's jump into tonight's game. It's going to be interesting here between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, we've got some players coming up against Milestone here for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they've lost their last two meetings versus Columbus, but this is a team that really has dominated the Columbus Blue Jackets over the season. So let's jump into things right now. All odds are over on FanDuel, as you guys know. The Columbus Blue Jackets rolling in at plus 104 on that money line. We do have the Pittsburgh Penguins at minus 125 and a total of 6.5. Minus 128 to the under. Now, it depends on this game what Columbus is going to be able to do offensively. We look at Columbus as of late. This team cannot score a goal, it feels like, to save their lives. They put up one goal over the last four games. It's not one goal in each of the last four games. That's one goal in four games. Tarasov expected in net as this team is on the second night of a back-to-back. They're coming off the loss last night to the Panthers. That was a 1-0 overtime loss. So defensively, they're stepping up, but on second night of a back-to-back with Tarasov in goal, I am expecting the Pittsburgh Penguins to be able to score. Now, Tristan Jarry is coming into net for the Penguins tonight versus the Columbus Blue Jackets in his career. He's got 8-2-2 in 12 starts with a 2.64 goals against average and a 914 save percentage. So he has been nice and strong versus this team. And we look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, they've scored 3 or more goals in 6 of their last 10 games. This team has been putting those goals up. The problem with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we know how they lose these games, they get up in the games and then defense and goaltending let those games go. When we look at them versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, they've scored 3 or more goals in 20 of their last 26 games versus the Blue Jackets, while 15 of those 26 games have been 4+ goal games. I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Penguins to come out and go over their team total. Their team total sitting at 3.5, coming in at plus 110. I do think they're going to get the goals. They're going to get the goals on Tarasov. I just don't trust this Columbus team defensively on the second night of a back-to-back. I do think those goals are coming for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, will the Penguins win this one? They have absolutely every ability to, but at minus 125, you guys, it's just not a place I want to go. It's laying way too much juice for me in this one. Now, we look at these teams, we look at where they're sitting in the Metro. We do see the Columbus Blue Jackets rolling in here 6th in the Metro. They're 31-28 and 8 on the season. They have 70 points this season, which is 3 points back from the Montreal Canadiens for that second wild card spot. So the Montreal Canadiens have 73. So we're looking at a Columbus Blue Jackets team that has so much to play for, but they have been on this losing streak. They've lost their last 5 now. First game off of 2 on the road. And they're at the Isles on Monday and coming on the second night of a back-to-back. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins do have a 3-game road trip loading. They're at the Panthers on Sunday, at the Lightning on Tuesday, and the Sabres on Thursday. They lost their last game to the Isles 4-2, but they won the 4 games prior. So this team had been having success. And I talked about the success they've had versus Columbus. So Pittsburgh has 14 points in their last 15 games. So they've been able to get the wins in the games that they haven't won. They've pushed to overtime versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. So looking at this matchup, we've seen just Pittsburgh really dominate, even though Columbus has won those first 2 meetings this season. They won the first meeting 6-2, and then they also won in January 4-3, and that was in overtime. So the 6-2 really hurt the Pittsburgh Penguins, but I do think it's kind of like a strong game here in this one for them to be able to get those goals on the board. Now, could Columbus all of a sudden open up offensively, win this 5-4? It's not out of the question, you guys. And with the value you're getting on Columbus, it might be worth a shot. But I do think the Penguins team total is the best bet over 3.5. Now, I think there's a couple other ways you can look. We know the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Pittsburgh Penguins love to come out in that first period to get things going. Over 1.5 goals coming in at minus 146. I could see the Penguins getting both of them, but we could also see Columbus knowing on the second night of back-to-back they have to come out strong straight out of the gate and not allow Pittsburgh to run away with this. But Pittsburgh also has struggled to hold on to leads. So looking at both teams to score in the first period, it's not a bad look at plus 150. I still like the Penguins team total over 3.5 better. And there's a couple of players we are really going to circle here. If you want to look at anyone for Columbus, it would be Fantilli and Von Jenner. But I'm staying off of everyone here for Columbus. Everything for me is really around Erik Karlsson today. And why Erik Karlsson? And yes, we'll look at Sidney Crosby as well, but I do think this is a big day for Erik Karlsson, and a lot of reasons to look at him for his goal, his assist, or his point, or his 2+ points tonight. So let's break it all down with Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson for the goals coming in at plus 480. And why am I liking Erik Karlsson for the goal? He's 1 goal shy of hitting 200 goals in his NHL career. So at 199 goals, coming in for the goal tonight versus the Columbus Blue Jackets team with a backup goaltender in Tarasov, as well as him looking to hit that record at plus 480, definitely worth a shot here. He's also 1 assist shy of his 10th, 40th assist season. So his assist tonight coming in at plus 124. I do think he has every ability to get that assist on the board. We know how strong he is at getting those. So 39 assists. He's 1 assist away from his, again, 10th season of hitting 40 assists in each of those seasons. So the assist tonight coming in at plus 124. And now the point. The point is juicy at minus 128, but I do think 2+ points isn't out of the question. I can see a goal and an assist coming in this. So if you can see multiple points coming for Erik Karlsson, I know the big defenseman out here will come out really with vengeance here on the Columbus Blue Jackets, looking to get back in the win column. So 2+ points is coming in at plus 450 for Erik Karlsson. He has 13 points in his last 18 games. He's been playing strong. He's 1 point away from hitting the 50-point mark for his 9th time in his career in a season. So look for him to come out nice and strong in this one as well. Now, when he reaches that 50-point mark in this season, which I do think comes tonight, he'll become the 15th defenseman in NHL history to have 9 or more 50-point seasons. So this is huge for Erik Karlsson. Look for him to come out and dominate. Again, you guys, I'm going to play the goal at plus 480. I'm going to play the assist at plus 124. I'd stay off the regular point at minus 118. If that goal or the assist is hitting, we're going to get that point. But I will look at 2+ points for a sprinkle at plus 450. So looking at Erik Karlsson, I'd split it up. 1/3 of a unit on the goal at plus 480, the assist at plus 124, and the 2+ points at plus 450. If it's going to be a great day, we're going to hit all 3 of those out there. Now let's talk about Sidney Crosby. We can't neglect Sidney Crosby out there. Great stat here. When Sidney Crosby and Malkin are scoring a point for the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Penguins overall have gone 403 to 92 to 49. So 403 wins when the both of these guys are putting a point on the board. So that's Sidney Crosby and Malkin out there. So looking at Sidney Crosby and Malkin just for a point each tonight, Sidney Crosby, of course, is juicy. Malkin's got a good number. It's coming in at plus 146 parlay together. I like it. I do think both will be able to get a point on the board. And then when we look at Crosby, he is looking for another season, being able to get those points. Currently, with the last game, he's tied with Sidney Crosby is tied with Wayne Gretzky for the most points per game in the NHL season with 19. So looking at him to continue to get these points on the board, scoring 74 points in his last 68 games this season. And I do think he's looking to hit the 20th season hitting this mark. So look for him to continue to get that point per game mark. And it doesn't have to be like a point every game. It has to be, he has to come out and average higher than a point per game over these seasons. And I do think this will be his 20th straight season of hitting that mark. And he's tied with Wayne Gretzky for 19 straight right now. So look for a big night out of Sid. He has points in 11 straight home games, 6 goals and 10 assists for a total of 16 points in his last 11 home games. And with that goal on that last game out versus the Isles, he has been really leading forwards out there, 4 goals in the NHL in the last 5 games with 5 goals and 8 points. So, and second in points over the last 5. So he's been really stepping up. Sidney Crosby, ever since the trade deadline, we've seen him play just fantastic hockey. And we have all season, like I said, 74 points in 68 games. So Sid has been flying out there. He's got 63 career points versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, which comprises of 20 goals and 43 assists. So look for Sid to come out strong. Like I said, I will take Sid and Malkin parlayed for a point at plus 146. Now, Malkin enters tonight's game with 10 points, 4 goals, and 6 assists in his last 13 games. He is tied with Kopitar of the LA Kings for the 13th most assists for a single franchise in NHL history. So he's looking to surpass that tonight, and I think he does. So Sid and Malkin, look at those points parlayed at plus 146, and then let's play the Erik Karlsson game here. Erik Karlsson for the goal, Erik Karlsson for the assist, Erik Karlsson for 2+ points. And that's where we're going. Let's make some freaking money. I know it's only one game on the card, you guys. Raquel and Russ should come out nice and strong as well. But again, Erik Karlsson, Sidney Crosby, and Malkin are the players. So recap, best bet, Penguins over 3.5 goals coming in at plus 110. Look for them to hit Tarasov and the Columbus Blue Jackets. I do think the first period goes over 1.5 goals at minus 146. Columbus needs to get on the board right away. So I do think both teams to score at plus 150. Great look in that first period. And then Sid and Malkin for the point at plus 146 parlayed together. And then Erik Karlsson, goal, assist, and 2+ points. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you so much for joining me here on the daily for a Pocket with Jo. I appreciate each and every one of you. Stay hot out there. Let's make some freaking money. And I will see you tomorrow.